It's not easy to read the writing because it's faded with age, but this bag contains a master link for a motorcycle chain. You see, my bike's key lives here, in the ignition. Most of its days have been lived out in the ignition, even when it's at home not being ridden. Not because I wish you would steal it so I would have a viral YouTube video, but mainly because it has nowhere else to go. And because I often find myself fully kitted up and ready to ride when I realize the key is still on my desk. So I think the contents of this bag are the solution to my strange problem, consisting of an outer plate, 4 rubber O-rings, a cute little bag of grease, and the only piece I'm really interested in, the outer plate with pins. Because I think those pins will make an excellent key hanger, especially since my chain is already complete. But since all the hardware stores are closed due to a certain pandemic that would prefer to go unnamed, my supplies are limited. Wood-wise, I was resting all my hopes on these awful 4x9s. Twice as thick as I would like, and twice as useless. So instead, I got to measuring out my limited plan on a piece I'm recycling from my bicycle cleaning stand, trying to find enough material between the holes to work with. The back looked horrendous, but it won't be seen anyway, so it's not my problem. Originally, I did consider merely adding the chain links to my helmet stand. It would be a much easier integration, but I thought more hardware around the piston would be too much. And if I mounted them around the back, they would never be seen and my poor gloves would be out of a home. So that's how the key ended up with its own project. I knew I wanted the chain links mounted to a backboard. I knew I wanted a stubby shelf for a phone, gloves, or whatever you can fit on it. And I knew I didn't want the shelf hanging over the chain links, hiding them from view. So this is what I had in mind. Well, at least this is what I'm claiming I had in mind now that it's complete. One cutting montage later, and using lockdown as a good excuse not to invest in a circular saw, the numerous pieces were ready to be assembled. These are the holes for the dowel pins to join the shelf to the backboard. You've probably also noticed the extra hole that has no business being there, which is why I didn't show you all the time I spent measuring. However, luckily, the shelf is long enough to cover my 5th hole, and I can claim that it was purely for weight shedding. I've heard plenty of woodworkers say that good carpenters don't stop making mistakes. They just get better at fixing those mistakes. So I must be getting better then. While the glue dried in the vise, the limited supplies challenge returned with a lack of wood stain. This tin is the only option that was lurking around and is awful in pretty much every way. It's a sealer, it's for exterior use, it's dark brown, and it's low gloss, or so it claimed. I gave it the benefit of the doubt on a test piece, but even after far more coats than it deserved, it still wasn't dark brown, and was far glossier than I would consider low gloss, so it was out of the question. A quick bit of Googling told me that homemade wood stain is indeed a real thing, from using coffee, tea, wine, and even homemade concoctions. I wasn't wasting any coffee, even if it was for my bike's key. But luckily, the trusty garage cupboard had some interesting options. This is blackback and is used to get motorcycle trim pieces that have been faded by the sun looking black again. So one could say it stains plastic black, which is exactly what I want, just with wood. After some arduous sanding to get down to the good wood, where bicycle dirt hadn't seeped into, the blackback had some bad news waiting for me. Sadly, it wouldn't work. It was awful and left an oily residue. However, Turtle Wax's black chrome worked like a charm. It's essentially the same thing, but dried absolutely perfectly. And if this isn't a good motorcycle hack, then I don't know what is. It applied effortlessly, just like a real stain. And if they repackaged this as wood stain, it would be my go-to. Of course, I was still skeptical. With a lack of instructions and drying time for use on wood for some reason, I decided to leave it overnight to see what would happen with time. To my surprise, it looked identical the next day. It got a wipe down in a feeble attempt to follow the instructions. I mixed some glue to attach the chain links to the wood because I couldn't think of a better way without drilling holes in the link and ruining their authentic look with bolts. I mounted them vertically because I liked the look and because the pins on one link are too close together for separate keys in any case. And after all that, I wasn't sure where I wanted the key hanger to live. So to see what it would look like on the wall in the meantime, I took down the helmet stand and the key hanger took its place next to my desk. It needed a key or two to bring it to life and a phone or preferably gloves. But you would never believe that it was made out of recycled wood or that there is a hole drilled in the wrong place behind the shelf. I could convince anyone that I used real wood stain, and the best part is that it only stains your fingers every 10th time you rub on it. I could go on for hours about how good the chain links look on the wall with an R1 key dangling from them, but I'd rather hear what you think of them, so let me know down in the comments. And here's one more hack in case you decide to build one for yourself. If your backpack keeps falling off, just press the outer plate over the pins and it will be good to go. But anyway, you know the drill. Hit the like button and I'll see you on the next ride.